By staying still. By staying still, but also in that staying still, God's going to cook you. He's going to cook you, and he's going to shake the reflection. And all of that comes from when you're in pressure, give yourself a distraction. Something that's going to take your mind off. Just like with a baby, those that just came on, when a baby, you take something from that baby that baby is crying about, what you do to calm that baby down. You give that baby a distraction. You give that baby something that's going to take that baby mind off of what that baby was crying for. Now that baby is happy. At first the baby was crying because you took something from him, but you replaced it. And so that's what you do, you replace it. When you're hurting and when you're down, when you're sad, you replace sadness with joy. You hear what I'm saying? When you're feeling negative, when you're feeling doubtful, you replace all those things with faith, with trust, with peace. And so those are some simple thoughts that I wanted to just convey to those who are listening to me, just to teach you, just to give you a idea, give you a understanding, give you a perception on spiritual warfare. Even Paul says that I know in my flesh dwelleth no good thing, that I would do, I do not. And who shall deliver me from this law of sin and flesh? And what he did is when you walk in the Spirit, you're not going to fulfill the lust of the flesh. And what's the Spirit? The Spirit is faith. The Spirit is faith. You're not walking by it. You're not living by it. You're not being governed by the elements, the physical elements, the physical pressure, the physical pains and what other people are going through. You're not governed by that, but your faith is locked in. So in other words, your mind is locked in on what God's word said. Regardless of what's happening with my eyes, physically, the eyes of my heart is locked in on what God is saying. It's like being on a boat. Being on a boat at sea. As long as the water don't get in the boat, you're going to stay on top of the water. But when you allow the water to get in the boat, that's when you're going to begin to float. Or that's when you're going to begin to drown or go in or go under. And so the purpose is to not allow the water to get in the boat. And the way to stay in the boat is by trusting God. Well, let it be a teaching lesson and go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. You know, there's an order, you know, especially when you go to a certain person's house, you know, the pastor, whoever, there's a certain protocol, a way that you should act, or certain things you should do. And so now you know, just go somewhere else. There are many churches. There are many churches that will receive you. Just wherever you go, just use wisdom. Some things that God give you that you might know, you can't tell everything. Some stuff you got to hold. Some stuff that God gives you is for observation, for you to notice, for you to observe, for you to see what's going on, for you to see what's happening. Some stuff. That's some stuff. Some stuff you don't tell everything you know. And then, but you know, even as a prophet, when you have spiritual gifts, you know, a lot of times your gifts are still observed. And most of the time, when you have gifts, a prophetic gift is spiritual interpretation. God is going to give you the ability to interpret what God is saying. Case in point, Ezekiel. When God took him to the valley of dry bones, he said, you know, what about these things? Can these bones live? And Jesus said, God, you know, why are you asking me? And see what God was doing, he was testing him. He was pulling on his gift. He was pulling on his gift. And so, say, yo, God is pulling on your gift. And what he wants you to exercise is just use wisdom. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you at all. You know, there's a lot of people that got kicked out of churches. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, maybe it wasn't for you. You know, take the dust off of your feet and count it as a testimony and just move in wisdom. That's what it comes down to. It's not what you know all the time, but what you know. Knowledge is important, but it's how you use, how you apply, because you can know many things, but if you don't know how to apply what you know, then it's useful. Then it's useless. Because the people that has a lot of knowledge can disrupt and destroy so many things based on them not using wisdom, because wisdom is the ability to apply the knowledge. See, wisdom is the application, knowing how to apply it. And that's all you need, just a little application. And so don't beat yourself up, and all is well. All is well. Be encouraged, and